Question for you, can you actually believe that the government still isn't doing the day 3 testing? After all of those times, they promised us they are testing people coming back into the community twice before they let into the community. They are still not doing it. I actually couldn't believe my ears when I heard Chris Hipkins admit that today in the 1 o'clock press conference. Mostly I couldn't believe it because we've been here before. Mid-June they were busted not doing the testing when Thelma and Louise left their Auckland hotel without being tested. So then the Prime Minister back then went on her Facebook Live and told us her expectations hadn't been met. But we were assured everyone would now be tested twice, day 3 and day 12. But fast forward 2 months to now and their assurances aren't worth the time that we spend listening to them. Still not happening. Now, before they start spinning you that day 3 tests are not that important, yes, they are. That's why they assured us that they were doing day 3 tests. Day 3 tests are important so they can find the people who have COVID and then move those people into other quarantine facilities so they're not still mixing with the other people in the managed isolation hotel lobbies without face masks and whatnot, like we're seeing in the pictures, and then making the rest of them all sick too. Because, by the way, if some of these people get sick just before leaving the hotel and coming into the community, their day 12 tests are not necessarily going to pick up that they have COVID because it takes about 5 or 6 days to incubate. Now, do we want to go through the list of things that this government has told us were happening but weren't? Because it's long. It starts with the time we were promised the police were checking on all returning Kiwis who were supposed to be isolating at home and they weren't checking. It includes the time that we were told that everybody coming out of managed isolation was being tested first when they weren't. And it goes right up to us being told all border workers were being tested and they weren't. You know, our plan to keep COVID out of this country looks good on paper. But unless it's actually being done, it is not worth the paper it's written on. COVID will slip through if you don't do what you say you're going to do. And goodness only knows what the Prime Minister plans to use now to reassure us over this one. And she's already announced 500 Defence Force. That was one card she played. She's used the Heather Simpson and Brian Roche card. And it probably has used up the I promise we won't do this again card. Are there actually any other cards left? In fact, you know what? She shouldn't even bother because it doesn't really matter what she announces to try to fix this again. I don't believe a word of what she and her government now say about their COVID response. I now do not trust them to keep COVID out of this country anymore.